Hey, this is Sam, funkypencil.com. Welcome to part 4 of our video tutorial for drawing the easy chair in perspective, 1-point perspective. On part 3, I broke it down about how to draw this chair. We laid out the pencil lines, which look like this. So, at the end of the video kind of cut short, so I'm picking up where we left off, and I'm going to be doing an overlay of that chair on this fresh piece of paper. Right, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use our Staedtler Mars Tri Plus fine liner pen, I should say. And using the pencil lines underneath, I'm just going to go over the lines to a nice, neat fashion. The great thing about using this sort of pen is that you do get a nice clean line. Once you've done this, we can start to beef it up a little bit in certain areas. The good thing about the fact that we've actually drawn it already underneath, so it's a simple case of just tracing off what's underneath, which is great. What I'm going to do at the top is actually straight underneath, but I'm going to put a bit of shape, just a little slight curve, and just round that off quite nicely. Okay, so how quickly that was done. Now what we'll do with this part of the chair is that we'll just put a line. We won't join it up, we'll just put a line in, just missing the two corners, so it gives a nice slick look. And then we're going to start adding some thickness to the fabric. In actual fact, I may just change it. I might just change it to like a metal frame or something. Give it a bit of glint, a bit of bling on the edges. Just add final thickness there at the back. Okay. Now, just to give that edge in there a little bit of thickness, I'm just going to come inside that line there with my set square or ruler, whichever you prefer to use. I prefer to use a set square, but you can use a ruler if you want. Just come in on top of that, another line. There we go. Okay, so now we're ready for the base. So if we just follow our guidelines underneath, just draw here, and there, and start to pick up on the legs now. I'm just going to stop short of the edge of the box, the guideline box, so kind of balance it a little bit, draw a little bit more balance. Okay, this is where the actual legs are attached to the center column of that chair. Just drop in a bit of thickness here. There's a little bit of a smudge line there, but not to worry. And then continuing this leg across over here to the opposite leg. Just line up our set square. A little bit of thickness of the metal legs, and then finish off. Yeah, just like so. And then what we do then is just add that. So that's it. So that's the basic outline of our chair. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just put freehand in a little bit of a line there for a bit of thickness, and then we're going to add a bit of shadow to it now. So if we pick up our Staedtler permanent fine tip, which is a slightly thicker tip, just grab that, and then you're just going to, where the light is hitting the chair in this direction, you're just going to thicken up. Or add in a bit of shadow just behind that metal frame. And following, there's a little bit of a recess, you see. It might actually be easier. You just, if you're struggling a little bit, just go back to your thin pen, and then just, you could do it exclusively with your thin pen, but if you want it to be really exact. And just fill in that area there. Okay, looking slick. Okay. And then what we then do, we're going to add a little bit of shadow to the column here. And I mean, there are exact ways of shadowing circular and cylindrical and circular objects. But basically, where light will hit, where it hits the actual surface, that's the brightest part. Then it gradually gets darker as the light passes the curvature of the object. And then you get a reflection back onto the back side of it, which also lights the rear edge of it. So that's kind of why you sort of, if you kind of drop your shadow lines, don't finish them all the way at the back. Just kind of do that. And then a little bit of a curvature. Just missing the back slightly. And then we're going to add a little bit of a line here. And a little bit more shadow just in this little area here. Okay, looking good. Now then, what we just need to do now is just pick up the shadow. The light is coming in this direction. We're going to pick up the shadow of the seat itself. And what I'll do is I'll just use a pencil as a guideline. And I'm gonna make the actual light hit about 45 degrees. So the light's gonna go past the edge of that chair, hit roughly about this spot. Just imagine the shadow shape. If I can pull it back just slightly. Then we'll just make it about there. And then what we'll do is where the light goes past the legs, we'll just drop a shadow there as well. A small one just in front here. Okay, and then what we just need to do there, go back to our fine line pen, draw in our shadow. Picking up on the edges, that shadow that's cast by the chair. Take it back to that leg, and then the final leg here. Drop it back neatly into there. Okay, so that's done. So what we do next, we pick up our Staedtler M series pen, which is a much thicker nib. And then we'll just fill in that area. Now usually when I'm working, when I'm doing like this as part of my day job, I'm usually under a kind of a tight deadline, and so I'm going a lot faster than this, and a lot of the times I'm doing this, the shadow lines, they cross over, and all various rendering lines cross over, and they end up with this quite sketchy. It's sharp and yet it's kind of a sketchy look, and most of the time I don't really intend it to come out like that, but due to tough deadlines, you end up not being as neat as you'd like. But oftentimes that ends up being quite, it adds quite a bit of character to the work. It's a little bit like looking at someone's signature. It tells a lot about about that person. And I think the same can be said about the way someone draws, you know. These are, you know, obviously you can draw in all sorts of fashions. You can draw quite neatly, very precise, which is nice, you know, but you can also draw sketchily as well, which is also, you know, really nice too. Okay, so dropping those lines out quite nicely. Go back to our new pen. And the shadow is coming out quite nicely. Last bit, just by the third here. There you go. As a final touch, we just put a little bit of a detail in the back of the seat there, and then just add a little bit of a few dots as texture. Fabric. Okay, looking great. Just drop the shadow down a little bit more. And there you have it. You have a nice rendering of a chair, or should I say, nice perspective drawing of a chair. We'll drop a bit of colour on this in the next video, just to kind of add a bit of life to it. Okay, that's great. Check out part 5. Thanks for watching.